Welcome back, Etsy sellers. Are you tired of hearing crickets every time you post a new listing to Etsy? Or are you even at the point of potentially giving up because you've seen so many different Etsy gurus on YouTube tell you the tips and tricks that you should use to be able to make thousands of sales on Etsy, but you can't seem to crack the code yourself? If any of that sounded like your situation right now, you're gonna wanna watch the entirety of this video because I'm gonna teach you my 4-step process to bring in views, favorites, and sales in record time on your own instead of relying on the Etsy algorithm to bring them to you. And how we're going to do that is through the power of intentional sales-based social media marketing. I have been a content creator for over 2.5 years now and have made literally hundreds of thousands of dollars through the power of social media marketing. So today I'm going to teach you guys my exact 4-step process that I use for my own business to make sales while also building a loyal community of people who will buy from you every time you list a new product. You guys ready? Let's dive in. All right, guys, so like I mentioned, we are going to go over my 4-step process for intentional, strategic, and sales-based social media marketing. Part 1 is going to be research. Then after that, we're going to get into part 2, which is about creating content. Part 3 is about building a loyal community of buyers. And step 4 is exactly how to go out and get those sales. So diving in immediately into the research process, we're going to do the exact same type of concept that you would when you're thinking about adding new listings to your Etsy shop. I first want you to go to multiple different social media platforms. Even if you only plan on being on Instagram, on TikTok, or on Pinterest, I want you to look at all 3 of them so that we can see what is currently trending and what your potential customers might be interested in viewing. So go to any of those 3 platforms and first start typing in keywords that are related to your product or related to your ideal target audience into their individual search bar. Next, once we type those in, we are going to start scrolling through the options that those platforms have provided us. They could be static, carousel, or video-based content. And we want to find the content pieces that are performing well and are from businesses similar to yours. Look for posts with high engagement, which usually equates to lots of likes, comments, or shares. Once you find a couple of those, we actually want to head to the accounts of those specific posts. We then want to analyze and study the types of content that that particular person is creating. You want to check out the pieces of content that are generating buzz, comments, and have high reach, which also could potentially mean high sales. Once you find those pieces of content, we want to study their captions. We want to study the type of content that they posted. We want to study how they film their videos. And we want to take a look at the comments. What are people saying about this product? What questions do they have about the product? Could your product potentially fill a void to answer those questions? Lastly, we want to get an idea based on studying the totality of their content for, let's say, the past 90 days of what types of content are performing best for them. Are static images with long captions performing best? Are carousels that show multiple product images doing best for them? Or are videos that show behind the scenes footage doing best for that creator? I want you to take note of every detail that sticks out to you. What content intrigued you, pulled you in, made you want to watch longer? Now I want you to complete that 4-step process for multiple other creators and multiple other keywords. Once you complete those exercises, you should have a large bank of content that you can start gaining inspiration from that has already proved to perform well on each of these platforms. Now that we have gone through the research phase, it is time to jump into part 2, which is actually curating the content. A lot of people ask me, do I have to show my face? A lot of Etsy sellers that I've met like to focus on their craft rather than becoming the brand themselves. And I have news for you. That is okay because the answer is both. Should you use your face or not? You can do both or either. So here's some ideas that you can use without ever showing your face on social media. And there are literally literally thousands of accounts that are doing just these things and still gaining exceptional traction on all of these platforms. The first option is to use your hands and the products as well as text to tell your story. Another one is use trending sounds to be able to gain exposure to your product to a larger audience. You can also create unboxing videos with voiceovers. So if you have the ability to speak about your product, you never have to have your face. You can simply have a video of you touching the product, showing someone how to use the product, and then all you have to do is place a voiceover on the video. And if you're not comfortable with even doing a voiceover, there's multiple different options called text to voice on both Instagram and TikTok. Once you place text on different places within your video, you will have the ability to click text to voice, and then you have multiple different options of voices that are AI generated that will actually do the speaking for you.
Type your text for your video.
But if you are one of my brave souls who is interested in putting the face behind the brand, I highly recommend you at least give it a try. People fall in love with people. They don't fall in love with products. So here's exactly how you can start incorporating your face into your content. You can tell your story. Why did your brand start? Who does your brand serve? And talk to the camera just like you're talking to a friend. And by the way, you don't even have to speak to the camera. If you don't want to do what I'm doing today, you can easily do what's called B-roll footage and simply tell your story through text or a voiceover. Another really good option of putting a face behind the brand that doesn't have to be yours is by sending products to influencers or user-generated content creators. If you guys are interested in learning how to connect with influencers or UGC creators to help promote your brand, feel free to drop UGC in the comments and we will create a video explaining exactly how. Another thing that I highly recommend is getting on Instagram and TikTok stories. This is something that is highly slept on by Etsy sellers, but it allows you to be in the moment with people. It allows them to see behind the scenes with you. It allows them to follow your process. And since stories only last 24 hours, you also have the ability to be a little more raw, a little more unfiltered, maybe even a little more controversial, and also show your actual personal life behind the scenes. Stories are where connections are built. So I highly recommend do not rely on just the content on your feed, but instead make sure that you have a tandem pairing approach with stories and content. Now that we know what we want to build based on our research and we know how we want to build it, let's talk about part 3, how to build a community. Social media is literally telling you exactly what it wants you to do. Be social. You can't just create content and expect someone to buy something from you immediately. There are millions of other people creating content, just like there are millions of other Etsy sellers. So if you put the same concepts of being different, adding a unique value proposition, building a community, building your reviews on Etsy towards your social media marketing plan, that is how you're going to build a community of people who want to buy from you over and over again. So here's some strategies to actually build said community. Again, I want you to get social. Start asking questions to your community. Start answering questions from your community. Use features like polls and quizzes to get people involved, and always respond to comments. Next, we want to send DMs and comment on other people's content in our niche. DMs are considered one of the most popular places to play the algorithm on popular social media channels. If you are DMing someone on Instagram and someone replies to that DM, and then you go back and forth a few times, this is literally telling Instagram that you and that person might be close. So if you start DMing someone who could be a potential customer, Instagram is going to think that person is a friend, and they are going to then present your next few pieces of content to them to basically test if this person is going to engage with the content you put out. Screenshot reviews from your Etsy shop and add them to your Instagram or TikTok stories. Build highlight reels that are focused on testimonials and happy customers. You can shout out new sales as they happen and mention that person by name. And you can offer discounts to previous buyers and spotlight active followers even if they haven't purchased anything from you yet. You can host giveaways, BOGO events, and give freebies that are exclusive to your social media followers only. Oh, now that we've done our research, we've started creating content. We now know how to build a loyal community of buyers. It is time to get those buyers to purchase. Sales can't and shouldn't happen until until all of the other 3 steps are done. I want you to be consistent with posting content. Don't just do it as a checklist to-do item. Show people and the algorithm that you actually care. Once you have a good amount of free, value-based content, you can start selling. Another way to consider for selling is stories. Now, we already talked about stories are where you build loyal community, but stories is also where sales happen. You can obviously put a link to your product or a link to your Etsy shop in your stories, and it will go away within 24 hours, but I actually have a hot tip I'd like to give you guys instead. I don't want you to just post a new product and post a link to your item. This actually hurts your Etsy listing quality score because a lot of people might click on the link, but not a lot of them will buy. What we want to do instead is validate or pre-qualify people who actually want to purchase. I want you to tell a story about your product. What is it? Why is it helpful? What makes it unique? And here's the kicker. Here's the hot tip. Instead of putting a link once your story is told to your product, what we're going to do instead is say something along the lines like, I will not be posting the link to this product on platform. This is an exclusive offer for my followers only. So if you want access to this product, shoot me a DM, reply to this story, and I will provide you with the exclusive link. This strategy got me 27 DMs and 14 orders on Etsy over 1 weekend. Another idea for selling is instead of adding your Etsy shop link into your bio on TikTok, on Instagram, or on Pinterest, create a freebie or a discount incentive that they have to opt into your email account to actually receive. Once they've opted in, they will get the discount and you'll have their email for future targeted products and content. This incentivizes them to actually purchase rather than just lurk, which could hurt your overall shop success score. By following this 4-step process, you can have control over views, favorites, sales, and reviews in your Etsy shop. Remember, it's all about research, creating engaging content based on that research, building a loyal community of people who want to buy from you over and over again, and then, and only then, making sales. If you guys found this video helpful and you'd like to learn more about how to market your Etsy shop where you are in the driver's seat, instead of relying on a marketplace to drive all of your sales, feel free to type social in the comments and we will continue curating content just like this. If you in fact did like this video, please go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. We go live for you guys every single Thursday and post a video just like this every single Tuesday. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video.